There's a big shift happening right now. For some, it's quiet, but for many, it's really loud. Look at the workplace. Look at what's happening in the grand economic system. Jobs are flattening. The hierarchy at the top is thinning out, especially at the bottom. Titles are losing their meaning. AI is just rewriting the rules before we can even blink. It's crazy. And it's only going to accelerate this way. We're never going back to the way things were. But the people that will thrive ahead, they're not the ones with the flashiest credentials. That's an old playbook. They're not the ones who are frantically trying to keep pace with every tech invention. My God, with AI right now, no one can keep pace. It's impossible to even come close to that idea. But instead, the ones that'll thrive, that'll be on that wave, are the ones with the most courage. They're the ones who will learn to do very important work. That is, learning how to build something from scratch. This is already a rare skill, and it's going to be even more important into the future. It's the idea of becoming a founder, the builder of something, the CEO of something. Because those that are founders and adopt this mentality and have that skill set, whether they're inside or outside the corporate world, they're the ones who are indispensable, irreplaceable. Now, if you don't do this, you're going to be swept up in the masses. There's a lot of change happening in the workforce right now, and by the time you've listened, I can only imagine how much more has already taken place. Don't be caught flat-footed. I want to play out today the importance of not just playing the same game as you've been, but instead learning the role, the skill set of a founder and CEO. Let's dive in. Welcome to Uncage Yourself. I'm Matt Doan. On this show, we explore strategies to help family-focused professionals smartly graduate corporate life and build entrepreneurial freedom. Our goal? Maximize freedom, income, and impact. See MatthewDoan.com for more. Now, let's dive in. Let's play it out. If we let all this change just keep happening around us and we stay still, we're going to get swept up in this tsunami. I hate to say it that way, but it's kind of true. Look at what already has transpired this year. I can't even imagine what's going to transpire in the coming months and years. If you don't do anything, your skills, they fall apart. They stagnate. Your energy starts to dissipate. Your confidence gets really shaky. And one day, when you need something and you put a resume in front of someone, if people still do that, they'll say one thing. That's impressive, but it's not what we need right now. But then what? You're in this moment. It's like, oh shit, I can't keep playing by the same rules as I have. That game doesn't work anymore. I can't just expect that my past and my skill set is going to be applicable in someone else's system that easily. It's not going to work like that anymore. Now, you can keep trying to keep pace with the hottest skills of the day. Instead of going for the timely skills, I'd rather you go for the timeless ones. That's what we're going to unpack today. It's moving very quickly. And I don't bring all of this up to sound some sort of alarmist doomsday bell. It's not that. But I want you to wake up, look in the mirror, understand what's transpiring and say, am I going to let it happen to me? Or am I going to happen to this? Am I going to be on the edge of that wave, surfing forward with a few others rather than being swept up in this tsunami? And again, I don't want you to just think about reinvention for the state of, protecting against bad things happening. But like, no, when big change happens, like capture the upswing, get a lot out of this. We talk about money, meaning, and freedom. That's the trifecta we're aiming for in corporate graduation. So let's pay attention. Let's go after that with full force. This is a cool moment. A lot of opportunity. I hope you sense it like that. I'm super excited by all that's transpiring right now. Because when disruption happens, it's like, wow, who's going to capture this? There's always a ton of opportunity. That's the idea of a founder and CEO. Let's unpack that in a second. But you've got to read the tea leaves and be very honest with yourself, because you might have thrived inside of traditional organizations, employers, Fortune 500s, whatever, for years, as I did in management consulting. But what was that game? That game was executing someone else's vision, being a highly paid human resource that is quickly being wiped out, in the sense that that form of resource is no longer applicable in any sort of vast sense, right? You'd go there, here's my credentials, give me a job, execute the playbook. But now those playbooks are being rapidly deployed by AI, by workflows. It's crazy. I have some clients that would come to me and they'd say, Matt, some engineer, they'd be like, I built this AI workflow for connecting different processes of our organization. And I was really proud of myself. And then within 2 weeks, they gave me a pink slip and I was out of a job. I literally automated myself out of a job, Matt. How disheartening is that? That's crazy. Well, we can't just continue to play the role of doer. We need to elevate, get higher ground. That's what we need to do. Now, what is that most important skill set of your life? It's not what you've been doing. And it's not something anyone has ever taught you. They don't teach it in school. They certainly don't teach it in corporate life. It's this, though. You got to have something that guarantees your future, that no matter what transpires around you, you've got a skill set and mindset that endures, that can keep reinventing. It's very simple. It's the skill set of a founder, CEO, founder and CEO as one person, two identities, right? Very related, obviously. A founder, what do? They envision a new future that needs to take place. They do category design. They say, what am I gifted at? Who do I really want to help in this world? What specific unmet problems do they have? Well, how do I just play matchmaker between what I love, what I'm gifted at, and what they need? The basics of any business is playing that matchmaker between what you got and what they need. But you got to be very careful that you don't end up in commodity land. You want to be in a category of one. We've unpacked that again and again in these episodes. Now, when you think about a founder CEO, I want you to approach this as, they call it beginner's mind, right? Like Zen Buddhism. We think about this all the time, which is like blank slate, no constraints, no pre-existing history. How would I approach this as a new learner of this thing? But I want you to approach it with some real urgency. I want you to say, I'm going to learn the skill set of a founder CEO. I'm going to learn to create something out of nothing. Because whether I'm forced to, or whether I choose to, someday, sooner rather than later, I'm going to have to build my own thing. It's inevitable. And if you listen to this podcast, I know you want your own thing. At least a piece of the portfolio needs to be your own thing. This is what makes you future-proof when you are a founder CEO. So let's unpack that. What's it actually mean? There's a few pieces. At a high level, it looks like this. If you've seen value chains, we did this in management consulting all the time, from one side to the other. You first go through ideation. That allows you to then do positioning, marketing, sales, delivery, and operations. It's just a chain of activities that need to take place. And if you have all these pieces, you have the essence of a business. You have the pieces. So first, ideation. This is for you as a founder, is extracting your genius. What are you gifted at? What lights you up? You then match that to an unmet need in this world. Then you move into positioning, where you frame your one of one category so that your people that you're going for want it instantly and see you as the only option. Position accordingly, do it in a premium sense so you're not confused with all the commodity players out there. For example, the last thing you want to be is another analytics consultant or a life coach. Good God, we have too many of them, and you're just going to price yourself in commodity zone. It's going to be very frustrating, full of competition. Don't do that. Number 3, then, once you've positioned well, you get into marketing, which is learning to communicate with authority, helping bringing in premium buyers, helping them understand the value you can bring. Obviously, when to grab attention, which then is the on-ramp to a sales situation. Lots of options for this, but it's the art of being able to enroll aligned clients without any form of manipulation, right? So whether you're selling to organizations, B2B, whether you're selling to individuals, B2C, doesn't matter, but you want to have a sales mechanism and know how to, at a fairly reasonable percentage, enroll those clients. Then you earn the right to do delivery, where you create premium outcomes that transform lives and organizations without burning yourself out. Delivery would mean, hey, how do you package your genius? How do you productize it? How do you maybe bring some automation? Frankly, you just get some leverage. Like with my clients all the time, after we establish what they're gifted at, package it into some intellectual property, and then you say, how does this thing scale? We might move into something like software as a service, an AI-powered business of some sort. Obviously, this is the evolution for almost everything out there. But how do you create leverage knowing how to get an outcome, and then you create leverage with it? And then finally, as a CEO, you should be accountable for how are some good lean systems keeping us operating. Operations means how do you make sure that Everything that's being done in the business has some insights, some data, some ability to say where are the bottlenecks, and you make it better. Maybe deploy some resources, whether they're human or automated, to get it going. But that's what a founder CEO does, is learn that skill set. And I appreciate that may feel overwhelming. But when you understand how to do ideation, which is come up with a need in this world out of nothing, position it, market it, sell it, deliver it, and operate it, guess what? You can keep using that again and again in so many contexts forever. Now, that might be daunting to you. Good, I hope so, because I want you to have a very worthwhile challenge to shock you out of patterns that no longer serve you. Because anything worthwhile in life, as you know, feels very overwhelming and daunting at first. Most people, they'll shut down. They won't pursue it. But I encourage you to look inside and be like, hey, is this the mountain I need to be climbing to learn the skill set of a founder CEO? Because if you do it, it's going to put you in rare air. Very few people will ever attempt this. But when you're there, you've got the higher ground. So as the robots eat up all the lower ground stuff and all the skill sets that are being done by commodity players, you'll have real life options. You'll be that elevated person with strategic mindset and skill set that's very vast. Again, everyone else, they're going to freak out, point fingers, play commodity games. Don't do that, right? Now, when I think about founder, CEO stuff, your mind might go to some preconceived notion like, I need to be some sort of like Silicon Valley tech founder, build an app. Do I need to raise capital? No, you don't have to do that. I didn't. Been doing this for 4 years out of corporate already, several years before that. All of my peers in the land I come from right now, all the programs and masterminds I'm in, none of them did that. We didn't raise millions of dollars of capital. We had an idea and we put some sweat equity into the whole thing, worked our asses off and continue to every day. And yeah, I'll tell you, it's the hardest thing I've ever done, but also the most rewarding. And I love doing it because what you're doing in choosing the founder CEO skill set is becoming a real value creator and learning to do that on your own versus plugging into a system and saying, I'm doing something meaningful and very important. But in reality, it's kind of like lying to yourself because you don't actually feel that way. You can't even see the overall impact of what you do. And that sucks. Compare that to stuff I do, which is I've gotten letters from people, handwritten cards, which said, you saved my life. Wow, that's impact. That fuels me. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to do the hard things to stay in this game, keep thriving. I love it. Because when you're doing this, you're operating as a founder CEO, you're building a path that no AI, no algorithm can ever replace. No one can take that away from you. You can keep recreating, reinventing again and again. The coolest part is you can do this in tandem with a corporate role. I love a good corporate job. As long as you compress it, keep it in a box, do it under your own terms, don't let it take over your life, right? It's a good supporting resource. So you don't need to quit first if you're in a corporate job right now. In fact, you shouldn't. Just let it be a supporting tool because you'll never know when you actually need this ability of a founder and CEO. But I encourage you, upon hearing this message, to commit to it. Put yourself in the conditions, the environment to figure it out, like we do in the corporate graduation lab. Go to lab.corporategraduation.com. This is a place to figure out what this even could mean for you. It's a workshop. I'll talk about that again later. But anyways, you never know when you'll need this ability. But it could be the very lifeblood that fuels you, that rejuvenates you. I'll give you a couple of examples. So one of my clients, Steven, he was a finance executive inside a Fortune 500 company. And he started by turning his job into a lab where he knew he wanted to get into coaching because he loved that sort of thing with his direct reports. So he started testing his coaching frameworks with colleagues, leading internal workshops to build more leadership capacity in his people, and frankly, just getting good at marketing his value and his vision. So he said, I'm going to take this job and turn it into a lab. Since then, he's built more infrastructure, more online presence, a category of one, and some real momentum of people who know him for this thing. Now he's bringing this premium coaching offer to the outside world, starting up a YouTube channel, honing his skills in marketing, sales, and delivery. But again, he started to say, I've got this great corporate job in front of me. I'm going to use it as a lab, build out the skill set, and then port it over to my own business. So I'm ramping down corporate life and ramping up the new one. Another client, his name's Brian. He's a chief operating officer at a cybersecurity startup. since starting there not too long ago. We've been able to really tightly design that role. It's like 4 or 5 hours a day max. So it's on his terms. It doesn't overtake his life. And he's putting his best energy into building a business that he loves. So outside of that box of the job itself, he's building an alternative experience to college to help young adults design their lives and uncover pathways to income, fulfillment that traditional education paths don't. So rather than just letting them plug into traditional systems, he's helping them figure out new paths that are more entrepreneurial, more authentic in nature. So that's his graduation in motion. Soon, he'll let go of his startup job and go on his own terms. Now, that's the sort of thing I'd want to be true for you, to establish yourself as a founder and CEO. This is what makes you future-proof. And I encourage you, if you need this jumpstart, if you want to see under the hood of what it takes to actually do this, to build the skill set, to build a real business vehicle, to take control of corporate life and fully graduate, I encourage you, check out the Corporate Graduation Lab. It's this couple-hour workshop experience that will blow your mind. It will help you see all sorts of new possibilities, awaken something within you, and create some real personalized insights on what's possible beyond the stagnant corporate life, especially as we're all being swept up by AI. Put yourself in an environment like this to figure it out. It literally is no cost, but we encourage you to apply. Go to lab.corporategraduation.com. Because, zooming out, there's going to be another reorg. The market's going to keep shifting. It's going to have lots of turbulence. Or sometimes it's just this inner voice that won't shut up about, I need freedom, I need freedom. No matter what, you're going to have to build your own path sooner than later. So, build this new you now. Because as one of my coaches always said, once an entrepreneur, always one. They can never take that away from you. And your first business, I promise you, won't be your last business. So build the skill set once and then use it again and again and again to keep building something more wonderful, full of money, meaning, and freedom, right? That's what we're after. So step back. You want to be a responsible provider for your family, right? You want to make your future self proud, right? Well, this is the move you make to build the skill set, the mindset of a founder and CEO. So when the world shifts and it feels like it's earthquaking every single day right now, you're ready. When the market tightens, you're sharp. When your identity is tested, guess what? You rise because you've been ready. You've been practicing for this, training. This is your new safety net. In fact, it's more than that. It's the springboard. It's a launch pad. This is your founder era. Let's choose higher ground. I'll see you out there. Thanks for listening to Uncage Yourself. Check out MatthewDoan.com to subscribe to the podcast and view our services and helpful resources. If you enjoy the show, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening, or just tell a friend. Talk soon.